Oh yeah, just interrupt our regularly scheduled tuning and talk about crazy shit.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
the
know if,
events of the 6th of January, 2021.
oh yeah, I mean, where to even begin? Another staged episode, it seems like too contrived, really.
Yep, I've seen videos of police letting people pass the barricades, even flagging them past, and also videos of massive, like large amounts of Trump supporters around the outside of the building and at doors. And then there are people who appear to be Trump supporters just by they have a sticker, like a Trump sticker, on the back of their helmet. But usually, like, you don't see any other Trump supporter wearing helmet, just the people that are trying to smash the windows. But the Antifa members do wear helmets and stuff like that. And you saw Trump supporters actually, like, take out those people.
You said taking out those people?
Yeah, like ran up to him and well, one of them got the shit beat out of him because they and one another dude started screaming at him like to stop doing that. You can't hear because the camera angle is from real far back. Let me see if I can get those
So,
on screen
an
here.
Antifa member that got beat up, is that it?
What's that?
Oh, did you say Antifa got beat up by a Trump supporter?
Yeah, well, it wasn't officially Antifa. I'm saying that it I kind of have a suspicion that it was either it, not necessarily even Antifa, but a provocateur, not the not an actual Trump supporter. That's what it seems.
Yeah, well, it seems like there's always provocateurs on either one of these sides here. Even if everything's kind of going normally, somebody's there that's infiltrated one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we haven't seen too much. I mean, I know this DC Drano guy is kind of boots on the ground a bit. I've seen a bit of that from their perspective, how the police did let them in. So it seems made for TV, right? Some of these costume characters, while very lively, you do question as well if it's something made for TV or some other guy I've seen as well that said he was an actor. I saw some guys say like he was a paid actor. He was just on an IPS's show.
Yep,
And he said,
I have that video as well. I'm gonna upload all that so I can put it on screen. But keep going.
yeah, see if you can upload anything like that. That would be interesting.
Definitely.
But yeah, just strange. I mean, maybe even some kind of ritualistic sort of thing. Even you never know with these weird obelisk people. I mean, we've got this giant obelisk phallic symbol downtown Washington D.C., which more so stands for District of Corruption, really.
Oh, no doubt.
So it's like, what can we really believe from these people? Is it all to make anyone sort of a freedom oriented, or maybe anyone in favor of gun rights, Second Amendment, to make them look like lunatics, unhinged? My suspicion. I saw Biden actually refer to Trump supporters as domestic terrorists now.
Yep, I've definitely seen that being thrown around, and they're also even throwing conspiracy theorists into uh, that name as well.
Well, it's actually conspiracist, so they put the word racist in there now. It's like racist.
Now we're just making up new words.
Yeah, you're a conspiracist now. And not that Trump's anything to support. I mean, that seems obvious that he's kind of part of some sham here as well. But I mean, anyone that's sort of not going with the Big Brother program, I think, may be labeled as the new domestic terrorist or the rebel, sort of say. If you
Yeah,
want to breathe regular air, you might be a new domestic terrorist. If you think you should have scary guns, you might be part of the crazy white domestic terrorist, whatever name come up with, you know.
yeah, and that's another thing too is they are using the white nationalist or even straight white supremacist. I heard somebody call into C-SPAN last night talking about just straight up calling them Nazis. I'm like, well, I didn't see a single swastika up there, and I think that's the only thing that makes you a Nazi. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, it's funny, the people that are using the term Nazi are the ones that are setting up like the concentration camps and the quarantine camps.
Yeah, that is kind of ironic.
Yeah. I mean, these people are the actual Nazis, if we're being honest.
Well, that's what they use. They use it. It's almost like double speak, but they use, call someone the terms that they are actually themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's an old communist hat trick there too, or that might be a Saul Alinsky sort of tactic. Is accuse the enemy of what you're guilty of, and that's what it has seemed that the left has done. But I mean, the right is just going along with it, grandstanding, if anything. I mean, I don't know if anyone actually likes people like Pence or McConnell or the sort of Romney kind of club. And then Trump appeared to be more of an outsider, but even him now, I mean, he was always saying 3 years of, like this treason by the left. He always said like, we're coming back for them, like justice will be served. And now he's kind of just saying, stand down, like more or less conceding with, I don't know if he's officially conceded how that actually works, but
If Trump has conceded or Pence?
well, yeah, you've seen that same speech I think you sent, or that I sent to you, or you watched. I just mentioned it to you if you watched that.
Yeah, the very latest one that he said where I think that is a concession speech because he said his main goal now is on a peaceful transition of power.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, if that is actually the case. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's too surprising or shocking, if there's anything really surprising or shocking anymore.
Not really.
I'm gonna move. I've got some,
Again, like I did for a while there think that that they would actually put Trump back in just because it would make the far left absolutely lose their shit. But this is what I originally thought, that Biden was gonna, as soon as they nominated Biden, I was like, yeah, well, that's it. That's the plan, at least, And obviously, I think we may have mentioned it before, maybe not, but it's going to be a Kamala presidency. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that sounded nightmarish at one point in time. Like, could you imagine such a thing? But yeah, here we are looking at it. Maybe it is just going full steam ahead with the Build Back Better, Great Reset. Maybe they feel like this is the time for them.
Mm-hmm. And really,
unless it's something like radical in the next 14 days, which never hold out hope, but it's like maybe either QAnon will be vindicated or will be totally dismissed as the crazy idea that it always was, perhaps. So that'll be an interesting. Not that there's any real hope there. I mean,
no, but also we basically have to forget about everything that's happened since the election. Like it's shit. Basically, the election happened. Biden was the president. All this other stuff has just been kind of cannon fodder and distraction from the reality of everything that we knew was coming with a Biden-Kamala presidency. And it's going to put us into socialism very quickly. Now, short-term wise, maybe that does mean that, economically maybe isn't the best term, because obviously eventually it's going to plummet. But in the short term, there's going to be a lot of money printing. They're going to throw out stimulus to a whole bunch of people, but they're going to eventually get people onto the digital dollar on a universal basic income I believe it's called Fed Coin, if I remember correctly, what they're coming out with. So it is kind of scary, but it's here now.
Did you say it was called Fitcoin?
Fed Coin, like federal Fed Coin.
Oh, well, yeah. Anyone that's familiar with cryptocurrency will know that that's the one to stay away from, I would hope.
Yeah. Well, I think
But
they
yeah,
already have a USD coin, don't they? Not that like that they're going to use
so
necessarily for it, but I thought I saw that they have a USDC that's being traded as a cryptocurrency, which is basically a 1-for-1 dollar. It is the same value as a dollar.
yeah, I can see them kind of practicing for it. And yeah, maybe that's what they feel is their time to go just full steam ahead with it. As far as China, I mean, probably 90% of our government's owned by China, at least.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure. I mean, yeah, just kind of speculation there, but can we really assume that or ever think that these people are really fighting for us? But I mean, they keep the divide and conquer agenda working strong enough. So I mean, they've done that very well, at least with mass manipulation and division, mind control. And yeah, I'm pretty much for anyone that wants to go protest any government building. Not that we should even ask permission for our rights that are naturally inherent, but I mean, just about any side, I love to see people mess with the government. Don't mess with the small businesses, but I get a good time watching it. But this to me was obviously made for TV, and nobody's even, if only they were guilty of what they're being accused of. It's like I hear these descriptions of coup or just like some kind of insurrection, or and it's like, yeah, if only they were. But yeah, I mean, the politicians are the real criminals and looters. But
Absolutely. The
they get
politicians
to,
and then the people that control the politicians as well. Oh, I guess
yeah, no doubt.
ultimately.
I mean, yeah, it's out in the open, at least to people like us, that it's, big pharma and the bankers sort of running this. The philanthropist, who knows how much, if George Soros is even behind this. We know he's put millions of dollars into things. Even Beetlejuice, mayor of Chicago, had mentioned Open
That's
Society
one of my
Foundation.
favorite nicknames of a terrible politician, honestly. It's very apt. It's an apt description.
Yeah, I remember her talking about Open Society Foundation donating millions to them or whatever agenda. And it's like, do you really think, old rich billionaire people that might actually be a real Nazi, somebody like Soros, like really cares about you, or somebody like Bill Gates really cares about you?
They do
And it's
not.
an interesting thing. Like, I mean, the left may be right that, yeah, police brutality, yeah, that's some bullshit. But why would they care about our lives or care about keeping us safe if they, kill innocent people? Maybe they want to see them killing some of these Trump supporters, though. I don't know. It seems like some of the double standard is there too. Like, I guess there's more armed people, maybe more protesting and violence, but maybe you've seen more than me too. I haven't seen a whole lot of boots on the ground, more pictures and snippets from this one.
No, I think that, I mean, regardless of what actually happened, which we may, never know, but uh, they're definitely using this as a, to put two groups
To
of
be some
people
kind of
against
control.
each other.
Yeah, you can just about reverse engineer any one of these and see, like, okay, what might they use this for? What sort of crackdown could this lead to? Then you could become suspicious of it there right away. I'm assuming maybe gun control, something like that. Or maybe they'll just say anyone that speaks out against the government is some kind of new domestic terrorist.
Well, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but number one, they are planning on, well, not, I guess they've gone past, they filed articles of impeachment again against Trump.
Oh,
And
they have actually.
yeah, they
Yeah,
have
some
they have actually. At least that's what the stories that I have seen reported. And then secondly, they are calling for the Republican senators that supported the objections to be expelled from Congress and calling them traitors, or accusing them of treason, which, the punishment for treason is death, which that's, kind of a scary notion.
It's interesting how both sides are able to call each other the treasonous ones, and maybe when it's most politically convenient or expedient. But I don't know if we ever see anything really come of that. I mean, given the last like 3, 4 years of Trump calling the other side that, and nothing ever becoming of that. Maybe it was all a grand wrestling show or something, but hard to say. I mean, seeing Trump's speech today, it was like, yeah, maybe that was all just a show there, like talking about ever doing anything about the so-called swamp or anything. I mean, he really told people that he instigated it, and then he said you don't represent the country or anything about freedom, democracy, just ways I've never heard Trump speak before, which should appease anyone in the mainstream media. And interesting times though, but yeah, I guess we've kind of known it was all a World WWE skit play show.
Yeah, that's the one thing. At least we have clarity to know that this all has been just a show, like we kind of had suspected in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. I guess can we know any different? But I mean, now that it's been proven Trump, who could have been a wild card, there was always that wondering or suspicion, like maybe he really would be an outsider, wild card rogue, or at least be an actual nationalist or not national. Well, call him Nazi. Maybe he really was a Nazi. I mean, it was socialist light. I mean, he was a socialist on many fronts. Even, I mean, how much government spending and deficit spending and printing and stimulus happened under this administration. I mean, how much debt? I mean, was it really any different? I mean, we saw the big agenda. We saw Big Brother's agenda go through with 5G executive orders and fuck knows with this Operation Warp Speed. I mean, just so much Big Brother agenda kind of moving forward all the same. And even Pence seeming like very much with the program as well.
Oh, 100%.
But they've kind of played into people's superstitions like in such a way with, I mean, the QAnon psyop, this kind of like white hats, black hats. I mean, they've played on the kind of right brain, call it like the Christian right, kind of just tapped into those people's psyche a bit with some of these QAnon things. Man, what just incredible. Just to think just about everything we see is a Hollywood production on some level, though, be it these protests, some of the provocateurs, the psyops, the divide and conquer has been next level, really.
It really has.
But I mean, at least we can now analyze it as best we can in the open. Not that we know everything. I mean, yeah, we're speculating, wondering, connecting dots as best we can. But yeah, incredible times, really. Like, where does it go from here? I mean, can you see anything in the next few weeks, few months to come?
I think the chaos is only going to get worse in the months to come. I think the reason, and so I've heard, it's kind of funny. I've heard people in the mainstream call what happened at the Capitol like 9/11, which is preposterous.
Wow.
Yeah, that just to even put them in the same ballpark, it's not even the same motherfucking sport, okay? Like, but what I've heard, the call it alternative media or truth movement, whatever term you want to put on it, is that this is leading up to the next major false flag. Yes, this probably had some sort of provocateur instigation going on. That's what it seems like, and I've got the videos loaded up that we can take a look at. But it does seem like this was instigated by a provocateur, not necessarily a Trump. Not saying they are not a Trump supporter, but there were other definite Trump supporters stopping these people from smashing windows. And it's also very strange that they let the protesters get so far into the Capitol before firing a shot. And then the one shot that was fired seems to be coming from, I don't know if it was Capitol Police, but someone defending the Capitol as a woman that was, from the latest information I'm hearing, was a Air Force veteran. She was climbing through a window, and they popped her when she was going through the window, and she has died. Popped her in either the neck or upper chest is what the latest report I heard.
I've heard the same. So yeah, of course, the real armed criminals are the politicians or the parasitical police class, whoever this was. Yeah, it wasn't anyone else that shot people, as far as we know yet.
Right.
I don't know. Have more died? Maybe more shots. Maybe I shouldn't speak too soon, but it seems like the state and politicians and police are really the only ones causing the violence and the looting to me.
Sorry,
But I think that.
Could you repeat that?
Oh no, yeah, it seems yeah, obviously it's not the regular people that are causing the violence, but more the police and political class.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, as always, we've got them being the more violent enactors, provocateurs, or the political parasites, the real looters. I'll come in here so maybe you can hear me better.
So that is something else that maybe we should touch on, is the difference between these riots and the BLM riots, okay? Now, first, I will say it does seem like there was far less police presence, at least at the beginning of these protests / riots, than there were at the BLM thing. Especially that they knew that potentially, 100,000, 200,000 people could be showing up to the Capitol. In these videos, there are not very many police around when they first start coming through. So I think that's a little bit weird.
Yeah, well, I remember the mainstream media at least acting surprised at the amount of people there, the so-called insurrection. These people, like, are they really allowed to do this though? Like, and it's just interesting it's so obvious that they're really standing for or fronting for the political class, the mainstream media. I mean, they're really just so shocked that people would be mad or upset with their government. Maybe they acted that way for a while too on CNN when they were the victim of some of the BLM rioting. And again, yeah, if you want to protest against the government and media, I'm for you. I might not even agree with your solution, but I like to see that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if we could only unite these kind of two fronts, these two factions, whatever. I mean, instead of kind of pointing the finger at each other, I saw a lot of people on the left kind of saying like, "Oh, look at all this hypocrisy and whatnot," and it's like, don't you not like the government as well? Like, don't you think the police suck, or do you just want to use the government against the people you don't like? And
Right.
That's the kind of shame. It's like, I wish everyone would kind of just agree that, yeah, we don't need these real parasites or political class anymore.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, of course, it's easy to let the TV or media tell you what to be upset about or what to think instead of real critical analysis. But it's like, we can't believe anything we really see anymore. We can't really look at any of these so-called riots, protests. I mean, throughout the whole year, even like, and draw any real conclusions from what we see on TV. And who knows, like, how many are actually getting tipped off paid, or I mean, we saw the piles of bricks everywhere during this last summer.
Oh yeah, with the protests and them, or with BLM and them just happening to have piles of bricks set up next to glass windows for no reason whatsoever.
Exactly. And I mean, we've only seen, is it even still going on? That might have been all that was. It might have been a one and done thing. I mean, is there anything even going on still there? If they cleared house, do you know?
Where are you talking about?
Like right now, is there
Oh,
anything
at the
in
Capitol?
Right.
At last I checked, they are keeping the National Guard deployed there until inauguration, and I'm not sure about the curfew, but to me that sounds, a bit past curfew. That's almost an occupation. That sounds a bit like martial law by the administration that hasn't taken office yet.
No doubt. Well, that might be the kind of new script we see is, martial. It seems we've been kind of inundated that or primed for that a little bit. Like, you even saw conservatives like demanding martial law just to get Trump his way. And it was like, man, aren't you people supposed to be small government as well? It's like, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what you got.
So this first one that we're going here. Let me get your camera set up a little bit better here. You up in that corner? All right. Here we go. First off, let me ask you, can you see this video?
Yeah, but it's small on my stream, but that's okay.
Okay. So what this video is showing here is the police were just letting the protesters and even flagging them through the barricade.
That's what it looks like. Yep.
They're just flagging them through. Oh my God! Oh, that's loud. Sorry about that, people. We'll just do this. We don't need audio for this one. But yeah, just kind of letting people roll on through. Watch it one more time. He's even rolling up. You can see this guy right here. Come on through. Come on through. It's this way. Which again, like this right here, there is absolutely nothing illegal with what they're doing. They're just walking up to the Capitol. That's public property, right? So nobody's vandalizing anything at this point. But they're letting them through up close to the Capitol. So right now, this proves that like they didn't break down all of the barricades. I have seen some videos of them breaking down a barricade that's further away. But again, there was 2 cops guarding this barricade, and then they just kind of ran away.
Yeah, it seems obvious enough.
So
it's very.
The next one I'll bring up here is, yeah, let's do the close one first. This will be them. It shows like them real close to the building, right up against the wall, or the door, and someone is smashing the window, and some other supporters seem to stop this individual from doing this. So you see this guy here, he's smashing the window. And this is what I find strange. Let me pause it right here. Oh, back it up a little bit so I can show you what I'm talking about. This guy right here. He's got a helmet on, and it has a Trump sticker on the back of it. Now, something I did hear is Antifa did say that they were going to come dressed as Trump supporters, not necessarily to this event, but they said they were going to start coming to Trump events dressed as Trump supporters, but they were going to be wearing their MAGA hats backwards. Now, this might be a stretch, but sticker on the back of the helmet, back of the hat backwards, I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. But what I can say is you look at this crowd of people, nobody else is wearing a helmet, but the guy that already has the little Billy Club and the helmet on, or the Trump sticker has the helmet, and he's also in, it seems, dark if not black clothing. No other Trump stuff, just that one sticker on the back of his helmet. So we'll keep going. And now I think it comes up here. You can see this guy come out. Here he is. And come up behind this guy and stop him from doing it.
Well, that's good. That wouldn't be the first time I've heard of suspicious characters that were not claimed by the rest of the group there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of these costumes, man, were wild and out.
So then I have another angle here. This one's from a little bit further back. I'm going to try and play the audio. Hopefully it doesn't come out too loud. I'm sorry if it does. But it's kind of important to hear what they are saying at this point. People calling no Antifa, stop them. And then there's a guy screaming at who was just smashing the window. Lady screaming, Antifa's breaking the windows. Antifa breaking the windows! So there's that one. That's two separate videos, and it seems two separate entrances that the obvious, we'll call them obvious Trump supporters, were stopping the questionable protesters from breaking through the windows.
Yeah, well, yeah, it does say something about that. I mean, we've seen other provocateurs or suspicious characters that maybe were not necessarily with BLM. Well, dude, who knows with like BLM and Antifa? Like sometimes they do break shit. Maybe there's Trump supporters that break shit. I'm sure there are.
I mean, that is an absolute possibility. I guess preface this by saying I'm not saying that these aren't Trump supporters. It's just, I mean, at the very least, we can say that it is a very small minority of Trump supporters that were involved in the smashing, at least in these videos.
And we saw much provocateuring last time around, so we know this is nothing new.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I mean, I'm honestly not that mad about it. I mean, there's probably worse things they should actually be doing if they were serious. If they were guilty of what they're being accused of, there'd be a lot worse than that going on.
Absolutely.
But no, not to trigger anyone out there. I think what they should do, we should gather them all up to vaccinate them. Is what we should do.
Antifa?
No, these politicians. That's what we should have raided Capitol Hill or Washington D.C. for, is just to make sure they get the real vaccine. You know?
Yeah, that's very true.
And so that is not a threat, because that's a good thing, and it's just clearing anything up that we're anti-vax. No, we do want to vax the politicians.
Yeah, vax them first.
With the real ones, not with the fucking theatrical ones.
Yep. So this next video I've got, this shows a protester climbing up a the video says that it's a 30-foot wall. I cannot comment on how tall the wall is, but allegedly this person is one of the ones that was seen being carried away on the stretcher after falling and was in allegedly critical condition. So I'll let this one play. But the cops apparently pushed him off. See him climbing up here, and then boom.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that was quite a dip then. Huh?
Yeah, for sure. And he straight shoved him off.
What the fuck?
Oh, I just heard somebody say right there, we're going inside. So I don't know, maybe after seeing that the cops were just going to shove somebody off of a 30-foot drop, they're like, okay, no, we're going to do this now. I'm going to play this one more time and take a look at it. It's just, how can they think that's all right? How can they think that they have the power that they could just shove somebody off like that?
Well, yeah, again, it's the real criminals that are perpetrating any of the violence that I've seen. It's the political class or the police. Those are the only ones I've seen enacting real violence.
Absolutely.
Maybe some provocateurs breaking stuff, but as far as violence goes, I mean, I've only seen them commit any violence. So, I mean, we know that whole house is just built on taxation and money printing, and they act like they're such a sacred ruling elite or ruling class, but it's like no, they leech and loot off of people like us and everyone else there. So I'd like to see people a lot more angry more often, I think, all around, and sort of unite as one. The ultimate task at hand, realizing we don't need any of these people. Like, there's obviously no Congress people or representatives, or there's no one to represent you or me in there. Like, we know the fight's all up to the actual we the people now. That should be open and obvious to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Even during when they were actually in session and talking about these objections, they were talking about, well, first after this all happened, they were talking about how the people outside were obviously separate from them. They were calling them thugs. And like that, those are your constituents that are banging at that door right now. That's these aren't just that wasn't a small group, as you can see from the steps. Small groups breaking the windows and breaking in, but even after they got in, they weren't setting the place on fire. They weren't in there to just demolish everything. They were trying to get to those representatives, if anything, if nothing else. That's really what it seemed like. And once they got to a specific bottleneck is when they seemed to shoot that lady. And it also seems like after that, the rest of the people that were in the Capitol building started to move out of the Capitol building. And I don't know, if nothing else, I hope this shows people that the government is not on their side.
Yeah, without doubt. And it was interesting seeing Turtle Man McConnell too say, "Will not be intimidated by an army of thugs." Like,
yeah,
gathering of, I don't know if he saw something like that. I said, like, and yeah, exactly. That would be his typical constituents, but. I mean, who actually likes any of these people like Nasty Pelosi, Mike Pence, or Turtle Man McConnell? Like,
even now Rand Paul, like he totally I don't know how many people actually watched the proceedings there, but the whole point of them objecting was the way that the vote was carried out was not constitutional under the aspect of you have to go through a legislative process to change the rules in any state in how people vote. Particularly what they were talking about in Arizona was they pushed the deadline back for voter registration, and the legislature turned it down, but the courts just said that that's okay, we're going to do it anyway. And that's what they were saying, is this election was not constitutional because the proper process was not gone through to change these rules to allow you to register later, which, would that change the election? We don't know at this point. But even in the going through the court process, the way I understand it is the courts wouldn't even let them or allow them to look at the voting records, to even look at the machines, to get the information that they would need to get evidence and give a case. They just threw it out entirely. That's the way I understand, and that's what they were trying to get across on the House floor. The other big difference that I saw were the Republicans that were against it were actually bringing up, like, oh, this article in the Constitution, part this, whatever it was. They were bringing up actual facts on, like, this is where our case is. And then you have the Democratic, and even then, like, people like Rand Paul and other Mitch McConnell and other Republicans standing up and saying that, just basically grandstanding on left-wing talking points on, no, we need, the people need to pick the president, and just going through, not showing any facts whatsoever, just going through almost the motions of major talking points to get the great masses to see, it's for the people, that's not the point. Whatever you feel about it is not the point. The facts seem to be that they did change these voting processes unconstitutionally in order to get more leniency in registrations and vote or mail-in ballots in order for them to be counted later. And I believe that's what they would have gotten into had this not have happened, had they not have broken in, is in other states like I believe Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, the cutoff was not met. They said, like, oh no, you can count votes for this long after, and that same process was not done the way that their Constitution was written it should be done, therefore making that election null and void.
Well, COVID seemed to be the great catalyst for a lot of any fraud or any excuses for tyranny, really, or just malpractice in general. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
That was a tyrant's dream come true. I mean, and that allowed really the left, or the sort of kind of global government types, to really just make anything convenient to them, or mail-in voting, mail-in ballots, mail-in voting. Yeah, I can't talk, but maybe that helped Biden actually win some more legitimate votes. If you don't have to make people stand in line, they can just vote by mail. Who knows what actually happened with that, with all the harvesting, ballot fraud, or anything like that. I mean, I've seen videos of people ripping up ballots, so there's that. But
well,
I mean, has any election really been legitimate, and does it ever matter? And I'd argue not. It's like,
no, and that's really a main point that should be hit, is just because it's been so pushed in the media, there has always been election fraud. And I'm not even saying that there wasn't some cheating going on the Trump side of things. There very well could have been. Probably was, because both sides, Republicans, Democrat, doesn't matter. It's all part of the same system to keep us, the people, fighting with each other, instead of actually seeing that the government is the ones that we should be rallying against as one people. Set aside any differences. Differences are what make us great. We need to come together against this tyrannical force that is the system, that is the government, that is the elite, whatever term you want to put on it. They are not our rulers. They have no right to rule over us, and we need to tell them that.
Yep, and you're not a terrorist for thinking so. They're the
No,
real terrorists, if anyone.
100%. It is in the Declaration of Independence that we not only have the right but the responsibility to overthrow any government that does not align with the people's interest. That is our duty in the Declaration of Independence.
Absolutely. And yeah, it seems like that is becoming more and more obsolete, at least with their narrative. There's just about they would create the sort of chaos to make themselves the savior or the solution, or and the division they create to create more of their own solution or order out of chaos is really where it is, Phoenix out of ashes. So the more created or manufactured crises, the more division they can manipulate people with, then the easier it is. And it is that easy for them, but it's as easy for us to just drop our belief, our false belief in government authority or man-made authority. And then that's when you kind of really see the light. That's when humanity could really progress, is as soon as we stop capitulating and falling for their beliefs, their narrative, which is only serving them. I mean, who has ever done better because of government? I mean,
Yeah,
no,
that's a real question. Is it what can you really pinpoint something that government has taken over or done that has made it better? Because I don't think that I can.
it's all to serve the political class. I mean, it's all the real parasitical class, the real violent, real coercive people. I mean, the people that get away with actual rape and any lies they come up with, money talks, and then I mean, they all pay to play. There's a whole set of rules for them that we that we don't get to abide by. A whole different set of rules for them, and it's all out in the open now, at the very least. I mean, it should be a more general consensus. But yeah, what can we do other than speak out as much as possible, take real action when necessary?
Mm-hmm. I mean, more action needs to happen. Before
Yeah,
we get too far away from talking about provocateurs, I don't know. Obviously, I can't say if this video is truthful or not, but this has been posted of somebody that is allegedly confessing to being paid to pretend to protest, as he puts it. So I'll play this. It's about 55 seconds, but you can make
yeah.
up
Go
your
ahead and
mind
play that one too. I'll be right
on
back.
what you think.
Look, I just left the protest at the Capitol building, and I got a big bruise on my leg. I had a difficult time pulling off the act that I was paid to do, and I'm making this video because I want to confess that I was paid to pretend to protest today.
Hopefully, they can hear it as well, because I'm not
I
sure
can't
it's
say by
coming through
who,
here.
but I will just say that
But
it's
I've seen
a
this guy.
I checked. It is coming through on the recording.
organized effort.
So he ends by saying that it was an organized effort, and this is the same video clip that was on Infinite Plane.
Yep, I remember seeing that guy. Yeah, interesting to come out with it. And a good social experiment would be to just see, like, we ought to run a Craigslist ad sometime and just see, like, if we can hire crisis actors and how cheap they'll do it for. Just to see what kind of response we get.
It would be interesting to see. Now the other question is like, are they looking for shit like that too? You know, as far as like, all of a sudden your fucking door gets kicked down.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, just a whole world stage.
Another
But yeah,
video I want to bring up and show before we move away maybe from what happened on the 6th. Although we could go through, if you wanted to, the actual, like what they were saying in Congress. But I don't know if we want to get that deal. But I do want to show this. I don't know what it is. I don't know what is being exchanged, but something was given to the vice president by one of the other senators, or House. Well, I guess this would be the Senate if this is if it's Pence. But anyway, just take a look at this. There's no audio that can be heard, but let me know what you think about what's being done here. Just pay attention to his hands. He looks real chummy with Pelosi, I'll say that.
yeah.
So he's given something. I mean, it looks, at the first time I saw it, I thought that he handed him like a handful of gold coins or something like that. That's really what it looked like. But you can see right here, it looks like, I don't know, it still could be a coin, but I see a star. I see a star, a gold star in the middle of it with a black background and then more kind of gold, it looks like, around it. No idea what this is. But I do, this whole weird handshake, like if you're going to just give somebody a gift, why are you doing that? Holding it real tight. Like obviously he's giving him something here. He's explaining something. And then he looks.
It's like a real Judas payoff or initiation of some sort.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the best shot I can get of it. But
well, yeah,
I mean, it does. If you look in on that, that looks like a 5-pointed star. Again, I could be totally wrong. It's a far away video, not real great. It's a little grainy, but that looks like a 5-pointed star.
Is it pentagram shaped or
yeah,
is it just
yeah.
Interesting.
Now, who knows if it's up or down? It's on some sort, it's on an object that could be spun any which way, but there is definitely a pentagram-looking star on there. Who knows? Could be nothing. It could be nothing, but, he's like, oh, thank you, and then this thing with Pelosi in the elbow, like, hey, buddy, what are you doing? Oh, well, look, I know, thanks, buddy, you'll give me this. Oh, you got 2, 3, 5, the whole load. I don't know.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. I mean, we know, I've seen old John Boehner and Biden be buddy, but it's interesting they let us see these sorts of things. It's like, you must have known you were on camera there.
I mean, couldn't that be put towards the whole, you have to, in order for the karma not to come back on them, like you have to put it out there? It's like, well, we showed it to you on camera, but you're too fucking stupid to look at it and actually realize what's going on.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. Very interesting. I mean, it all works in our favor as long as we stop believing in these people. That's really the best solution we have. The real revolution of the mind that doesn't even require force as much. But it's very interesting watching this cult. Obviously, these people are in a cult of their own, believe very strange things. So if we can maintain our level of sanity and start realizing we don't need any of these people, then I think that's our best solution. And with that, that might be what I have for the night there. Any other good thoughts there on that note?
Nothing on that. I do have a video. It's kind of random. It's more on the coronavirus side of things, but it's a video of a family in Scotland that the police came to their door, and because they had a suspicion that there was someone outside of their bubble living in their house, and they just kind of blew through the door. And their daughter, apparently from what she's screaming in the video, is their daughter has epilepsy, because the cops came in and there was all the commotion, had an epileptic episode, and the cops were restraining the parents and keeping them from going and tending to their child, which was having an epileptic seizure.
Wow, I've not seen that, but many more of those videos are coming around.
Yeah, here, let me throw it up here. And I'll have to figure out next time why you can't hear this coming through Skype.
I did not ask you in here.
We could have forced the door if you didn't open it.
For what offence? For what offence?
Because there's suspicion that you have people within your address that do not belong here.
I am a woman of this land, right?
Women of this land are not,
Listen.
doesn't matter.
Wrong
Get
man.
your
No,
hand
but
out and say
wrong
it.
man. Get out of my head. Get your fucking body out my fucking house.
Absolutely not. You
Right
shoot me
now.
again, I'm going to lift you for a breach of the
No.
peace.
Alright, just stop it,
Wise
man.
up,
My
wise
house.
up.
Yes.
In my house.
Yes.
I do not think so.
Oh, trust me.
What's
Come on,
wrong?
Sarah.
What the fuck is wrong with you, mate?
Right, no, no.
Mum,
Hey,
no, please, my mum, no, please stop it, my name, you know what? Please stop it, my
Calm down or you will be in cuffs. I'm warning you now.
Right, well, step back from her. She's got fucking epilepsy.
Why don't you see her taking him out your throat then?
I never did anything there.
No.
Fucking hell, man. My heart's gonna beat you down with her.
Please, please,
Right.
please, please, can you see if she's breathing, please?
Look,
Get
look.
him out of here! Get the fuck!
Well, let me help you then. Let me help you.
You need to go. Get an ambulance. Where's the lights? Where's the lights? Well, do it. Look there.
So this kind of goes on like this for a while. They're screaming and pleading to let them up because she has epilepsy. They finally let them up, and this is 3 minutes in.
What's her name?
Gabby,
Let's go step in the arm.
please help.
Look, Gabby.
Get these police.
Sorry,
Please,
go step in the arm.
And it seems like they're having trouble getting her back into consciousness. So, tyranny happening all over. If you don't think that it's coming to your neck of the woods, you are mistaken.
Yeah, hopefully we see less support in the police. You would think so by now. You'd think everyone would be like, yeah, F the police by now, but I think both sides kind of just want to use it against each other, use the police force against each other, use the politicians against each other. And that's the illusion to break, is the need for any of these, and really just learning real morality and aligning your behaviors with right, proper action. and we'd be in a much better position today. But these people will still try. They're going to work. So yeah, we have to work overtime to fight it, and hopefully enough. I mean, there's some hope while there's hope, I suppose, but people need to pick up the pace a bit more, I think. Wake up sooner, or else we're going into a much worse place. But
Yeah, the only thing that's going to end this is for individuals to become aware of what is going on and take action against it. Even if that takes many forms, anywhere from just talking to people about it, spreading the word, to actually getting out there and being active on it. But there needs to be, at the very least, there needs to be more demand for truth and more research into what's actually going on instead of just listening to what you've been told. And everything that we've talked about on here, that we ever talk about on here, really, you look it up for yourself. Do your own research. Some of the best realizations that I've ever come to was because I was trying to prove someone wrong and ended up proving them right to myself. It's because I believed a false notion that was just told to me and didn't actually go look into it. So that's always the most important thing, is to do your own research and demand nothing but the truth.
absolutely. And with that, should we call it a rip then? Or
I think so.
yeah, we could maybe pick up some more in the days to come soon. Appreciate anyone watching out there. Hopefully we'll get more consistent at this, and peace.
That's about all.